Prejudice, a National AIDS Trust report entitled Are You HIV Prejudiced? Presents a number of case studies of people in the UK facing prejudice as a result of their HIV status and concludes that the issue is still a big problem. The first person in England is prosecuted for transmission of HIV. New HIV infections around the world numbered 5 million, the greatest number in a single year since the epidemic began.
In 2018, leadership. The British HIV Association publishes an adversion of standards of care for people living with HIV, providing an important benchmark for quality of care for people with HIV. Greater Manchester is launched as a fast-track city, region, and commits to ending all new HIV transmissions by 2030. All 10 Greater Manchester boroughs sign up. A Public Health England report shows that the UK is one of the first countries to meet the UN AIDS 90-90-90 targets.
In 2021, progress. 40 years since the first 5 cases of a mysterious illness, which was later to become known as HIV, were reported in the US. Channel 4 launches It's a Sin, written by Russell T Davies, depicting the lives of a group of gay men and their friends in London in the 1980s, at the height of the AIDS crisis. On World AIDS Day, Manchester Foundation Trust launches opt-out HIV testing in emergency departments. The National Institute for Health and Care Excellence approves the use of long-lasting injectable HIV treatment in England. The Department of Health and Social Care launches its Towards Zero HIV Action Plan.
Thanks to Yvonne, Agatha, Anita, Jim and Kieran for bringing the plaques to life, and obviously you can read them, I've said that, haven't I? Right, so the next stage involves you. So, is there anybody who's not got a red ribbon on World AIDS Day, but every day, so that people are aware that HIV is still with us and we've still got work to do? Tackle the stigma, be an HIV activist with us and with each other. And with that, I'd like to hand over to Paul Fairweather, who's going to share a few words about activism.
Hi, good afternoon. I'm Paul Fairweather. I've been an HIV activist since the early 1980s, and for the last 6 years I managed the Positive Speakers Project at George House Trust. We just heard from some of our wonderful positive speakers the timeline about key events. It reminds us of the importance to remember and celebrate HIV activism. So today I want to remember the members of Manchester ACTA who threw condoms over the wall of Strange Race Prison. I want to remember the activists in New York ACTA who disrupted the Roman Catholic Cathedral to protest against the callous indifference of that church as people were dying of AIDS. I want to remember the activists of Manchester Gay Activist Group who disrupted James Anderton, the Chief Constable, when he was speaking at an evangelical rally at the Free Trade Hall, because he just said that gay men were swirling in a cesspit of their own making. And I see Colin remembers that event very well, he was there. And actually It's a Sin recently recreated with great accuracy the sense of what it was like in the early 1980s, when there was a real sense of fear, of ignorance. There was growing hatred and hostility towards gay men, and a real sense of paranoia. There were wild rumours that gay men with AIDS would be quarantined and sent to the Isle of Man, the ultimate punishment. And It's a Sin references my friend Roger, who went to Monsell Hospital in North Manchester, was told he was HIV positive and forcibly detained, the only time that ever happened in this country. So the next day we lobbied the town hall, we argued, we picketed people, and he was released. But in some ways the damage was done. But HIV activism is not a thing of the past, it's a thing of the present and the future. So for example, the recent campaigns, many different types of campaigns to ensure that PrEP is available on the NHS in this country is a really good example of a whole range of different campaigns. But every time one of our positive speakers stands in front of a group of 15-year-olds and shares their experience of living with the virus, challenges misinformation and stigma, that's a powerful act of HIV activism. And we need to make sure that we retain the vigilance, the determination, the rage and anger that fueled our activism in the early 80s, as we still face many, many new challenges. We need to ensure we have an NHS that's properly funded. We need to ensure we have a refugee and asylum system that's not broken, completely ineffective and profoundly racist. We need to ensure that everyone living with HIV has access not only to food and heating and money to travel, but enough resources to have a decent quality of life. As an HIV activist for 40 years, as someone living with HIV for 22 years, there's been enormous changes, enormous progress. The U equals U message, undetectable equals untransmittable, is crucial for those of us living with HIV. It has the potential to completely destroy the stigma and the self-stigma that still holds many of us down. The beacon of hope is a visible symbol of our collective memory, of our collective struggles. But as we rededicate it today, it's important that we all, in our own way actually, rededicate our own commitment to HIV activism.
Thank you, Paul. Brilliant as always. I think the really important point there is to rededicate our activism, and I think if we can all commit to that today, that's really, really important. So it's left to me to wrap up today. So I want to say thank you to everybody for coming along, but my piece of the puzzle is hope. And so hope for the future, a world where people aren't waiting for HIV treatment, where everyone has access to PrEP. All those things that we can hope for, those things that are doable, that we need to get behind. It's so important, and this gives us a platform to be able to do that. It's so really important that we do not stop until everybody has equal access, until the doors of organisations like George House Trust can shut because they're no longer needed. A world where HIV holds no one back. Absolutely, and that's what we're here for today. So, there's the hard bit, because I've got to remember everybody's name I've got to thank. Right, so first of all, I want to say, from everybody involved in this, a massive thanks to Chris Parriam and the Friends of Sackville Gardens, who were also out this morning tidying up this park ahead of this session, so thank you. Round of applause. To John Cotterill and the Friends of Manchester Gay Village, equally for all of their support, thank you very much. To Carl Austin VM, who's been very helpful in getting this moving along and supporting and connecting things, so thank you, Carl. To Manchester Pride, who've been involved in supporting this and actually funded some of the work, which is really important, so thank you. To our lovely friends at the LGBT Foundation and their support as well and their involvement in this, thank you. It was nice to hear a cheer from the back. To Manchester City Council, and obviously Councillor Mitchell today, but also in particular Sarah Hawkins and Kevin Stott, who've been critical in helping us do this, officers from the council, so thank you. To Bar Pop for the lawn of the speaker. Yay! Our signer Tony. It's not on the list, but particular thank you to Colin Armstead from George House Trust. It's been critical in pulling this together and getting partners working together. And there's a very, very important thank you from us all, and it's Nick Curtis from Eagle. Where are you, Nick? Hiding at the back like normal. Nick's been really, really helpful with everything, from screwing these on to helping us out with everything, to identifying mosaic tyres that are hidden in a bag somewhere, and every other little bit. So thanks to Nick and for his ongoing support. Thank you. Thanks to all our speakers today. You were all bloody marvellous. And thanks to you. So thank you for coming, thanks for giving up your Saturday, thanks for wearing the red ribbon, thanks for wearing it tomorrow and next week and the week after, and thanks for your commitment to HIV activism. Now enjoy your Saturday. Thank you everybody.